everyone, this is the Bearded Zeno. This is going to be my top 5 films of 2014. And I just want to stress that this is my personal list. There's going to be a lot of bias creeping in this because, these are the films that I enjoy the most. And it's not necessarily the best films, the ones that are the best directed or the best constructed or anything like that with the best stories. This is the films that I enjoy the most personally. So there are some picks on here that some people might disagree with, but again, this is my personal pick. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this video, and yeah, let's get crack on number 5. Alright, number 5 is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is a long ass title. I really, really did enjoy this movie. I greatly enjoyed Rise. Rise was really, really fun, but I do think the titles are reversed. Dawn should become before the Rise, but hey, whatever. But I loved all the performances in this movie. Gary Oldman was really, really good, although it was pretty much just Commissioner Gordon in the Ape Apocalypse, which, hey, that's okay. And I really, really, really loved Andy Serkis' performance as Caesar. I mean, that dude deserves an Oscar of his own right. I mean, for best actor, I think. Honestly, this movie succeeded in what it needed to do. It made the apes the good guys, and you actually feel for them. You care about Caesar and his family. That is insane when you think about the classic Planet of the Apes and basically the apes for the villains. They took over the entire world, and we know that's where this is leading. We know that Caesar, basically helps that happen, but in this movie, we don't care. We care about the apes because that's the way it's presented, and I think this movie deserves props just for that alone. And like I said, Andy Serkis does deserve an Oscar for this movie. It was an Oscar-worthy performance, and it was just great. So again, I highly, highly recommend Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. If you haven't seen it, go see it now because it is freaking fantastic. Now, number 4 is going to be a very, very controversial choice, I feel, and that is Transformers: Age of Extinction. If you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I actually really like that movie. And let me just go ahead and explain myself here. It's because I am a huge Transformers fan, and this is the best Transformers film that Michael Bay has ever produced, Transformers-wise. I think that the first one is a more solid film and has a better, act structure, better characters and stuff like that. But the Transformers stuff was very, very prominent in this. It actually felt like a Transformers to me for the first time watching this entire saga, I guess, now since it's 4 films. The rest of the movies, the Transformers were pretty much just plot devices. They were MacGuffins sometimes. That always didn't sit right with me, but every time I watch Age of Extinction, I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times now, I just see a Transformers movie. Sure, there are long periods of times where there are, it's just Mark Wahlberg and Nicola Peltz, and they're just talking, but I do think that there is far more Transformers stuff in this film than there is in any of the others. I think that there is more Transformers dialogue in this movie than all the other 3 combined, and that, for me, is just awesome. And I love the new Autobots. They were really, really cool. It was nice seeing Frank Welker come back as Galvatron, too. That was really, really cool. And I just gotta say that I really did enjoy this movie. I did. And, just as a Transformers fan, is it the best film of the year? Is it the best film ever? Is it Oscar-worthy? Hell no. It's a big, dumb action movie where stuff explodes and robots fight each other. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted out of a Transformers movie, and that's why it's in my number 4 spot. Alright, number 3 is Edge of Tomorrow, or as it's on Blu-ray now, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. And I have to say, this film is one of the most underappreciated films I've ever seen. I mean, I thought Dread was underappreciated when it was in theaters, but this, nobody went to go see this, me included. I waited till it was on video on demand on Xbox. And I have to say, I hate myself for that because this film deserved every bit of my money that I could. And I actually can't find this thing on Blu-ray. I don't want to order it online. I'd rather pick up the Blu-ray in person. I went on Black Friday with the intent of picking this film up. It was $10, and thankfully, yes, thankfully, it was sold out. That means a shit ton of people actually gave this film a chance, and that's good enough for me to miss out on it because I've already seen it, and that means that somebody else is going to see this great film. This film is simply amazing. I was blown away with how good this was. This is definitely my biggest surprise of anything in 2014. This movie is awesome. Tom Cruise does a great performance. It's basically Groundhog Day with aliens, and it's just awesome. I don't want to ruin too much for you, but this film is just so cool. I mean, if you took Groundhog Day and a sci-fi version of World War II with a little bit of dark humor, there you go. This is what this movie is, and I think that just makes an awesome mix. And this is one of the best sci-fi movies I've seen in a long time, and the marketing didn't do it jack shit. Seriously, the trailers did not sell me on this whatsoever. It got me disinterested. And watching the movie on recommendation, I have to say, I really, really hate that I skipped this movie, and I blame it on the marketing. The trailers were so god awful for this, but the movie is fantastic. So if you haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow, first slap yourself, then either go rent it or buy it. I say it's worth a buy, definitely. All these on this list are worth a buy in my opinion, but yes, go buy this movie because it is awesome. Alright, number two, and I'm just going to say right now, my number two and my number one have swapped in between when I started recording this, but I think they're pretty interchangeable. But at this current moment, while I'm recording this, my number two is Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, it's my number two. That's pretty crazy if you ask me, that this would be number two. But, I'll explain why when we get to number one. And like I said, they're pretty interchangeable. I don't really prefer one or the other, but I just had to pick a slot, and there we go. If you haven't seen this movie, then just like with Edge of Tomorrow, slap yourself, then go buy it. This movie is a modern day Star Wars, and that is awesome. These two characters on the right, Groot and Rocket, well, if you don't fall in love with these characters, then you're not human. This movie is one of the funniest, if not the funniest, Marvel movies out there. Maybe Ant-Man will surpass it, I don't know, but this is one of the biggest surprises I've ever seen come out of Marvel. I had no idea who the Guardians of the Galaxy were coming out. I want everything. I want the hot toys of every single one of these figures. Seriously, that's how much this movie resonated with me. This film is awesome, and I have shown it to just about everybody that I could to spread the message that this was a great movie. Of course, everybody has pretty much seen it in theaters, and you haven't seen it in theaters, then, well, you probably have a friend like me who has said, hey, you gotta watch Guardians of the Galaxy. Not too much I can say on this that you don't already know, but, I am Groot. So, I am Groot. And lastly, my favorite film of 2014 is Captain America the Winter Soldier. Now, this is a little bit of bias creeping in here, but, this is my list. It can be as biased as I want to because these are my picks. I loved this movie so much. I think that Guardians was a better overall film. There weren't, there are some low points in this movie. This movie isn't perfect. I think Guardians is a near perfect movie. This, it's just because it's Captain America. That's where my bias creeps in. I love Captain America. He is my favorite superhero. I love the character. I love his ideals. I think Chris Evans was a perfect cast for this. This movie, yes. This movie was everything that I wanted the first Captain America to be. I was blown away with how good this was. I loved him in the Avengers because he was finally taking charge and everything the way he should, taking his role in the Avengers, and pretty much he cements his foot in this Marvel universe in this film. I don't want to say too much about this movie because there are a lot of spoilers in this, but I have to say that this is one of the biggest roller coaster rides that I've ever been in a Marvel movie. I actually really did like the 70s spy thriller vibe to it. That was really unique, very different, and I I dug it. I really did. And I loved all the new costumes for this. I loved the acting in this. The tension was great. And of course, we have to talk about the Winter Soldier. Sebastian Stan did a very fantastic job as that character. I literally bought that he was the Winter Soldier. If I didn't know that that actor was the actor that he is, and he also played the character that he also played, don't want to say that, but if I didn't know that, I would buy that this guy is a killing machine that is wired to just do nothing but kill. He did a great job in that role, and I can't recommend this film enough. This is one of the best Marvel movies that I have ever seen. I think it's Guardians, then this, then the Avengers. And like I said, the only reason this got number one is because of my Captain America bias. But again, if you're a fan of the Marvel movies and you skip this movie, please go watch it. Please. This movie is just awesome. And of course, there's a twist with the character that if you're a fan of the comics, you're already going to know. So, there's that. But for those people who don't know the twist, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Because I think it's a good reveal. It's kind of obvious in the movie, but still. Good. It's a great film. I think it's the best film of 2014. And, of course, I didn't talk about this, but the action. This was directed by people who have their roots in comedy. And this is some of the best, tightest action I've seen in a long time. The Nick Fury car chase, which is, towards the first 20 minutes of the movie. That happens in the first 20 minutes. That is one of the best action sequences I have ever seen in a Marvel movie. That gets my adrenaline pumping just about on the same level as the panorama shot, I guess, from Avengers, where it shows all of them fighting. You know which one I'm talking about, where it's just continuously showing them fighting. That is one of my favorite sequences in any Marvel movie, and I think that Nick Fury car chase has the intensity, high-octane action to match that. And this is from guys who directed comedies before this. They have their roots in television comedies. That is just crazy to me. All I'm saying is that if these Russo brothers get a chance in an Avengers movie, like they're saying, I'm not going to drop a single tear about that because that's going to be awesome. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite film of 2014 was. Just give me your top 5 like this. And, I know some of you might disagree with some of my choices, specifically Transformers Age of Extinction, but again, this is my list. My, biases seep in, my interests seep in, so, this isn't an evaluation like, these are the best. This is just my list, the ones that I like the most. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.